Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
My poor thing. Out here all alone? What courage you have. Would you like to come home with me? I'll call you Courage. We'll have a grand time.
Courage the Cowardly Dog is a show like no other. No other show could simultaneously make you laugh as much as it did, while scaring off all the children who it was originally designed for. Even I myself can't really wrap my head around how I was able to watch this as a kid, but I'm glad that I did, because it bears a great lesson of how to face your greatest fears. The show knows that fears are something that every human needs to struggle with on a daily basis, and children in particular. So what better way of teaching children how to fight off their fears than showing them a show that is funny and interesting. A show that will make you want to go back to watch more of it, but also a show that will require courage to continue watching because it shoves all of your biggest fears right into your face and asks of you to fight them off and continue watching.
Won't you join me? Can one of you boys give me a hand?
Courage, Muriel and Eustace are a little family that live in the middle of nowhere. A little semi-abandoned town that seems to attract many supernatural occurrences that Courage, our main protagonist, is not the biggest fan of. Then again, Courage the Cowardly Dog is in and of himself a paradox. A dog with the name of Courage that is constantly afraid of everything. There is nothing that doesn't scare him, from spiders to computer viruses all the way to big cities. He is a little puppy dog that is afraid of most things, but regardless of that, his name is still incredibly suited for him because if there is one thing that the creators of the show got right, then that is how they defined courage. Courage and fearlessness are not the same thing. Many people like to equate the two, but the simple truth is the following. It doesn't take courage to face your fears when you don't have any. It takes courage to realize that you are afraid of something, but that you will not allow that fear to overcome you, and that you will do anything necessary to help the ones you love, regardless of the fears that you may have to face along the way. Courage the Cowardly Dog is the perfect embodiment of this message. Perhaps the biggest scaredy cat in the world, and nonetheless in almost every episode he faces his fears to save the ones he loves. From fighting off a trafficking cat with spider minions all the way to entering a gigantic alien worm to save his favorite person in the world from being digested. He has already done everything in his power to save the people around him, and as long as he keeps that courageous heart of his, he will never stop doing so.
Don't worry, Courage, dear. I'll feed you in a minute.
Oh, I just know something bad is going to happen, or my name is Archibald. And it's not.
Unlike Courage the Cowardly Dog, we humans don't need to face supernatural monsters like mutant spiders, possessed puppets, or brain-eating zombies. Most of us get over such fears once we grow older because more and more we start realizing that real life is a whole lot scarier than any supernatural being could ever be. Most of us get thrown into real life when we turn around 18 without being prepared for it whatsoever. School and parents have failed to prepare us for the real task that life requires and have instead taught us English literature and how to sit properly at the table. Needless to say, life will not make an exception for you just because you're unprepared, and that alone is scary enough. But life has a whole lot more to throw at you. From endless responsibilities to sky-high bills to boring 9-to-5 jobs that will drain your blood better than any vampire ever could. These and many other problems may seem unsolvable at first, but just like courage, we cannot let ourselves be overwhelmed by them. We gotta be able to build up the courage to face our fears of failure, lest we find ourselves in a sea of fear. A vast sea that consists of many different fears. We all have our own in life. Some people are panically afraid of spiders, others fear having their social media posts being disliked, and others fear when the next rant will be due. Regardless of the size of your fears, be aware that it is normal that we humans fear. It is a natural state for us, but it is one that should be faced head on. Fears need to be tackled with courage and determination. Only then can we achieve that which we desire.
I do for love.
Now, it is obviously easier said than done, right? I mean, it's one thing to acknowledge your fears and another to actually face them. It only takes a functioning brain to realize that you are afraid of something, but it takes courage to face it head on. And courage itself can be split up into three main aspects. First, to build up enough courage to face your fears, you need to have the right reasons to want it in the first place. Courage the Cowardly Dog loved his owner Muriel so much that alone was reason enough for him to face his fears. So ask yourself, what are my fears and what are the reasons for me to want to face them and then in turn overcome them? Second, having the right reasons will be a good place to start and give you that initial push of motivation, but to keep at it and never stop, you will also need to start believing in yourself. You will need to be confident in your abilities and your strengths so that you can stand back up when life knocks you down, so that you can keep your head high and look your fears right into the eyes and tell them, "You're nothing to me." And third, you will also need a pinch of humility. This will be the last thing that you will need to master if you truly want to face your fears and settle the scores with them. Humility is going to allow you to not take yourself and all of your problems all too seriously. It is going to allow you to laugh in moments of fear because humility can show you that fear is only as big as we allow it to be. And this is also why comedy and horror can be merged so incredibly well in a TV show like Courage the Cowardly Dog. A show that does a great job of teaching us that most of our fears are pathetic and small in comparison to what we are capable of as humans. An irony that is in and of itself incredibly funny. It's like imagining a huge elephant being scared of a small little mouse. And Courage the Cowardly Dog show does a great job of showing us how funny it can be to face our fears. Through facing your fears head on, believing in yourself and having the right reasons to, you can overcome every fear. If you only believe strong enough, you can build up enough courage needed to do so. With time and a consistent fight against them, you will stand above your fears and look down on how petty they were. You will have the courage to do so. Don't drown in the sea of fear. Be more like Courage the Cowardly Dog and make your fears disappear. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to subscribe and check out one of my previous videos right here. This channel is all about looking at video games and pop culture from a different perspective, about digging deeper into the meaning of life and how we can get there with video games, movies and TV shows. So if that interests you, maybe subscribe, maybe hit the bell to be notified. What about that, huh? Yeah? Okay, good. See ya!
You're my very best friend. And you're mine too, Todd. And we'll always be friends forever, won't we? Yeah, forever.